Guys, welcome back to my channel. I know we're in a little bit of a different setting today. And if you're new here, my name is Ronke. Hi, I am a beauty lifestyle creator who also talks about real things. So today we're going to talk about the clip of all clips. I haven't actually done a chit chat video like this where I just talk to you guys in like a random setting because I haven't really had a topic to talk about is going to like inspire me to start talking. So
Welcome back to my channel. It's Ron K. Raji.
in case you have not seen the clip, I'm going to insert the clip into this video so that you guys can watch it for yourself so that you know what I'm talking about before I start talking. So roll the clip.
When I met her, she was one.
Don't take much.
Don't take much. When I met her, she was 175.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm used to 125 too.
Yeah.
She 5'6", 175, and she was the wrong color.
Right.
And I was used to
That part.
So I'm like, man, my God, you messing up my whole flow. Because I'm going to a predominantly Hispanic and black school.
Right.
She was at the white school in our
Right.
neighborhood, which I didn't go there because they didn't allow you to play quarterback. So I had to use my uncle's address to go to school in the hood. So
Right.
that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother
because
story.
that's back. We're both graduates of 1991.
Yet we still
So
ended
that's
up
back in the
together.
day. Yeah.
So we know there was a God thing, but
Yeah.
So you tell me. So what made you keep coming back to her? She's not your preference.
she lived down the street.
I would always feed him.
So you saying convenience?
Very much. 'Cause I
listen.
lived 30. All my other girlfriends lived 30 minutes away. She lived about 3 minutes away.
Baby,
Regis sound terrible.
Man.
Regis is getting worse and worse
But
and
baby.
worse and worse.
But I would always feed you.
She would feed me.
He always had a meal
Oh
ready.
man, listen.
I said, women, you got to feed him.
And she would give me money. She worked at Lane Bryant. I'm like, this girl's a senior in high school working at the mall. I'm like, man, and then again, when we would talk, we had chemistry.
We did.
She just wasn't my preference. And see, I got a lot of friends that are single right now.
Yep.
They're divorced, single. They want exotic.
Right.
I'm like, some of y'all need to get you an auntie.
That's right. That can make a
That's a
business.
whole different conversation.
She should be able to
so my
cook.
wife's like, baby, what is that supposed to mean? You saying I'm auntie? I said, baby, you an auntie.
That's all right. It's okay.
I said, you used to be
I
exotic.
used to be.
Well, you a grandma now.
I'm 52.
Even the other day I told her, I said, you auntie exotic.
Yes. That's right. I'll take it.
So even though you say that she's not your preference, clearly you're attracted to your wife.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely.
What are you attracted to?
First of all, she's beautiful. You know, I love her brains,
Yeah.
her mind. I'm attracted. That's the first thing I was attracted to. But then I had to pivot because she said it earlier. I was used to, heavier chest meat, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
Heavier chest.
Yeah, yeah. And then smaller in the other areas.
Yeah.
So I had to really pivot. You know what I'm saying? Because
To the opposite.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we're back from watching that clip, I kind of wanted to use this as a think piece and also to just talk about my experiences. I always talk about my experiences on my channel, but I feel as though marriage is something that I haven't really talked about. I've talked about divorce quite a lot, especially since I got divorced. I have been talking about it quite a lot, but one thing that I never really talked about was marriage itself. Now, I've always made this clear that I do want to get married, but honestly, married again. But honestly, there is so many things about this video that just kind of brought me to a place where I was like, this is a great video to talk about and let the girls know what is really going on. First of all, I started realizing a lot of times that women, we are raised to be male-centered, especially African women. I know that it's very different for different cultures. It's also very different with different parents. So I don't want to overgeneralize because everybody has a different story. And I know somebody can come on here and be like, oh, well, my parents didn't do this, my parents didn't that. I have a 5-year-old daughter, 5. And now that I'm a mom and I'm like super close to her and I'm always with her, I'm starting to realize she's always going and taking her Barbie doll. And the other day she asked me about marriage and I'm just looking at her like, ma'am, where did you get this from? there was a little boy in her class that she really liked, and she put the boy's last name to her last. Of course, we see it as harmless. We're like, oh, well, she's young. But it's making me realize how indoctrinated we are as women to want marriage. And sometimes we don't even know why we want marriage. It's men are raised to be people who are not centered around women. They are raised to be centered around their goals. They're raised to be centered around things that matter to them. And it was funny because I posted a think piece about this on my Instagram, and somebody commented and was like, I love the way men love themselves. Not to say anything about women, but men love themselves. Like, they do things for themselves. And a lot of us as women need to take a little page out of their book and do things for ourselves as well. Now, going back to that piece that I just talked about, or the clip that I just played, hearing a man talk about a woman in a way where you can tell clearly that he does not like her, even though they're married, should tell you how people view marriage. I was in a relationship for 7 years, and I was married for 3. And one thing that I wish I knew while I was in the relationship was marriage was not going to solve the problems that my relationship already had. And marriage was not going to make him like me more. Having kids was not going to make him like me more. And if somebody does not like you, they're not going to like you more if you stay with them because God told you to stay with them and this was your cross to bear. I think that a lot of times, especially with women who don't have high self-esteem, and I'm talking about this because I used to be that woman. I used to be the woman that did not have self-esteem in general. And I know you're probably looking at me like, oh, she has a YouTube channel, she's so beautiful, why would she have high self-esteem? Self-esteem has nothing to do with the way you look. Self-esteem has everything to do with the way you feel about yourself. And a lot of things that we feel about ourselves are things that are placed on us by the people around us, by our parents. It really depends on the environment you were raised in and what you choose to assimilate. Now, for me, I wasn't somebody who I really felt as though could actually be in a relationship. Even when I met my ex-husband, I literally thought to myself, this is it for me. Like, there's no way I can find another man. There's no way that he picked me. Like, oh my God, like I am so grateful that this person picked me to do life with. And I honestly lost myself in a way because I did anything that I possibly could to keep that relationship. And honestly, I did anything I possibly could in the detriment of myself. I didn't once think about myself. I didn't once think about what I wanted, the attributes I wanted in a partner. If this person was actually fulfilling what I wanted in a partner. I just thought to myself, well, this person is here, we've been together for a while, why not get married? And I think that a lot of us ladies can be like that. Of this video that I saw of Tracy Ellis Ross, where she was talking about grieving having kids and grieving not being in a relationship. And I realized that I've been in a relationship, I've had kids, and in a way, I know that I would have been that person to grieve if I didn't get married or have kids. I would have been the grieving type of person. But I am now this person who, I won't say again, I will never say that I don't want marriage again. However, I will say that now I've started defining what a partner means to me. And if I am going to get married, I want to get married to a true partner. And I've started realizing that doesn't just mean somebody who is going to like you or love you for yourself or love my kids. It means that somebody who is going to really pour into you the same way that you pour into them. And when I think about my ideal partner, I think about the fact that just like anything in life, it's okay to just do you. And if somebody comes along and they're somebody who you generally feel like has the attributes that you seek in a partner, go ahead. But let me tell you something. When the accent comes out, it's about to get real. If you go and say that because you are thirsty, you are going to drink pee. Please, it's not, it can never be that serious. I promise you. I know that, again, going back to culture, I know that in our culture, it is ingrained in us. You're not going to get married. Hey, look at your children. Look at you, this person. Look at that person. You're not going to get married. I get it. I get it. But it's better to get married to somebody who actually likes you than to get married to somebody who you lose yourself trying to prove your worth to. You cannot, on this God's green earth, change somebody else. We ourselves, it's hard for us to change. Have you tried to change your habits before? You yourself that you're sitting there watching me. Have you tried to change your habit? Have you sat down and been like, you know what? I want to be cleaner. I want to be more organized. And you know the process it takes to be more organized. And this is you motivating yourself. You not think that you can change somebody else's view on you and be like, oh yeah, because I get it. There's also a lot of marriages that do go through situations and they are able to mend things and they are able to work together and they are able to fix things and it goes on and it's great. But others, like this specific one that I'm talking about, and again, I'm not here to pick at what they have going on because it's only them that knows that what's going on in private and things like that. But if you say you married somebody and you've been married to them for 30 years and all they can say about you is that you were the wrong color and you weren't what they wanted, and you sit there and you're okay with that, it's like, it's really making me reconsider what type of weight we put on marriage. Like, why do we put so much weight on marriage that women are seeing themselves as less than just because of another person? Like, a man should not define your worth. Something, on this planet, you see the way men are walking around. If I wanted a man tomorrow, it's very easy. I promise you. If it was really that hard, it's not that hard. But it's finding that partner, that person that is not going to go and embarrass you online and tell the whole world that you were the wrong color or that you were not their first choice. Like, in general, even in friendships, you deserve a friend who is going to take care of you. You deserve a friend who is going to look at you and be like, I genuinely care about you and I feel as though because you're in my life is better. Even a friend, talk less of a partner, somebody who you live day in, day out with. You should never be in a situation where you settle. And this is not just for women, this is for men as well. If you're a man watching me out there, because what I've noticed also, as a woman, is that a lot of men settle. And they settle not necessarily because of the pressure. Some of them definitely settle because of the pressure. And I feel like in my culture that happens. But I also feel like they settle because they're just kind of like at that age where they feel like, this should be done. I might as well do it. Where is that? You better not come here. Nonsense B. Thanks. And it really is never worth it. It's never worth it to settle, and it's never worth it to not get what you want in life. That goes for a job. That goes for, like I said, friendships. That goes for anything. You deserve to have what you want in this life. And don't let anybody make you feel like you can't do it. Even goes for dreams, things that you feel like you want to do in this life. You should not let anybody else come and say, oh, well, that's impossible. Impossible does not exist. Please, I'm telling you right now, learn from experiences. I genuinely believed at some point that if I gave my all to a relationship, that it will be better. But a relationship takes two people working on it to be better. If one person is working on it, one person is praying and she's out here talking about how she prayed and she did this, and he's not adding to it, at some point there's going to be some type of resentment that comes up, and then you just look at it and you're just kind of like, is it even worth it at this point? And I think people also think that the amount of years you've been with somebody matters. I genuinely believe that it depends on the quality of years. Did you pick the partner that you felt like this was the person that I genuinely want? I like this person's attributes. I like their attributes that are also not that great. And I don't know. It just, sometimes in our society, there's just too much pressure on both genders with this whole relationship conversation. You know, we can talk on and on about us as women and things like that, but where the real dysfunction comes from is families. We don't just become adults, you know. Families and the families that we're raised in contribute to how we see the world and contribute to how we see relationships. You know, if you have somebody who's not supportive or in your family, you're going to automatically think that being not supportive is normal. Your idea of love is warped and your idea of relationship is warped. And there's a lot of healing that needs to be done in our family systems and also in ourselves to be able to attract people who are actually able to be in our lives and fulfill us. And you know, I've been on like a self-love journey for a very long time, but sometimes it's messy, you know. Sometimes you catch yourself in the same patterns over and over again. And you know, now that I've been dating, it's so different. You know, I catch myself repeating patterns. I catch myself, you know, you meet somebody and instead of meeting the person, I'm talking for myself, honestly. I meet somebody, and instead of just meeting this person and being like, oh, this is somebody who I need to get to know, I immediately place them in a husband role. And I knew I had to recondition my mind. And the only way I was going to recondition my mind was to spend time by myself and ask myself the question, why do you keep doing that? You know? And there's a lot of just people out there making decisions based off of what they see their own family doing. And we only have life this one time, you know. You should be proud of the decisions you make, whether or not they are decisions that other people around you understand. You should be proud of them, you know. And this is just such a loaded topic, you know. It's a topic that there's so many different parts to it, you know. And I just felt like this deserved a place on my YouTube channel because, again, I wanted to share parts of my experience, but I also wanted to kind of talk to the young women out there with the pressure of getting married and feeling as though you are not a woman enough if you don't have a man, when in actual fact it's the other way around. Men have been conditioned to think that it's the woman, that you don't need a woman or anything, but women are the ones that bear the kids, and we don't only bear the kids, we have the capacity to nurture them. We are natural nurturers. We'll always talk about social media because not only am I somebody who's in social media, but it has really changed the perception of relationships. You know, you go on social media, you see like the beautiful weddings, you see the engagements, you see the couples, and you know, as a single person, something inside of you yearns for that. But we have to come to the realization that social media isn't all real. Nobody's posting the behind the scenes of how they get over disagreements. You know, they're not posting the messiness, you know, and even if some of them are, mentally sometimes we still want that, like, oh, this is so beautiful. And it's okay to have that idea that relationships are beautiful, because they are. But at the same time, understand that it is worth being patient and nurturing your own garden so that when somebody else comes, they're not going to kill the garden you've built for yourself. They're going to water it and it's going to bloom more. Relationships, marriages, all those things, the purpose of those things is for two people to bloom together. It's for two people to nurture each other to a point where when you look at them as separate individuals, you can tell that there's a glory around them, you know? And I think sometimes I get disappointed when I see clips like this circulate and then I realize that these are leaders, these are people who are in a position to influence the next generation, and there's people out here listening to what they have to say and actually absorbing it and being like, oh, that's what it is. So I do have to put in work even though somebody's cheating on me, which is not something that is even good to begin with. It's not something that is acceptable for you as a person. Like for me, I am all about integrity, and cheating is lack of integrity. You know, we talk about self-worth all the time. Self-worth, how you see yourself. But the one thing that I have started realizing in general that I'm very attracted to, especially with women, is self-respect. You need to respect your own self. If somebody disrespects you, allow them. But do what you need to do to maintain your own self-respect and dignity. And I'll be damned if I hear a man talk about me like that and just sit there. Because I have come to the realization that people are always going to try to disrespect you. No matter, like, you might be the nicest person on earth. You might be somebody who, like, the way you perceive yourself is different, but there's going to be someone out there that is just going to disrespect you. But you have to understand that, like, if you keep being in disrespectful situations, at some point you have to question whether they are disrespecting you or you are disrespecting yourself. You know what I mean? And I think the one thing about self-respect that nobody talks about is it takes self-respect to be able to leave or release a relationship, no matter how hard it gets. It takes some level of, you know what? I don't think I deserve this. You know, I don't think I deserve somebody to talk to me this way. I don't think I deserve somebody to treat me this way. You know, and sometimes I think people see it as the easy way out, but it's actually harder. You know, I've been grieving a relationship and a person who never died for years, but every day I learn something new, and every day I come back to myself in so many different ways that I didn't even know was possible. And I've noticed that the more I learn myself and the more I love myself, I'm able to identify other people who love themselves and honor themselves and value themselves. And I'm more drawn to those people. So this is a very important conversation, like I said, that I really wanted on my YouTube because I feel like it's so important to talk about. I would like to carry on the conversation in the comments. What do you think about this? In your culture, how do you view marriage? And if you are somebody out there that has been married for several years, please, please, please do not be shy. Drop your love story, drop you know, the things that you feel like has really helped you in your marriage. Because even though I'm talking about this, I don't want to talk about it in a derogatory or bashing way towards marriage. I always say I do want to get married again, but I also do want the younger generation to see that even though there are relationships that you see where people settle, there's also relationships that you see that people thrive, and it's always good to see both sides of the world. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm about to enjoy my day. I'm pretty sure I got a tan sitting out here, but we love it. Did you put on your sunscreen today? But yeah. All right. Bye. Hey, my Lego. Jesus. Can I stand? Ugh. Oh. Mm. Lord have mercy. It is hot out here. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Let me get my crochet. Do the rest of my day here.